Hey everyone, welcome to another $1,000 strap search. I've got my $1,000 in singles here and I'm about to show you what I found. But before I do, let's talk about this week's tip. Now, a lot of you wonder where I get a lot of my notes from. And truth be told, I get a lot of them on eBay. And the reason I get them on eBay is because eBay is an auction house. Okay, so let's talk about auctions versus buy it now versus sales. Okay. If a seller has a note and they want to get rid of it ASAP, the fastest way to get rid of that note is to sell it at auction because they are telling all potential buyers someone is going to get this note at the end of the auction. The highest person that bids will be that person. So this note will sell. So knowing that, people that are interested in the note are going to put their bids in. Now, the other thing is that these people that are bidding may not even be interested in that particular note, but they see value in the note. So if the note is worth $100 and the high bid is only 50, yeah, they may try to bid 60 or 70 because they know that they aren't in a hurry to recoup that money. So they could very easily buy that note at auction for that $60 or $70 price and then put it up for sale at the value of the note and still have enough room to negotiate a price. Okay, so that is auctions. Auctions are when someone has to sell the note. If you have the time, if you have the patience, if you have the due diligence to check values, auctions are the way to go. You're first and foremost helping out somebody who's trying to get a little bit of cash, but secondly, you are adding to your collection stuff usually at a price just under the actual value. That undervalued penalty, if you want to call it that, is so that the seller can actually make the money immediately. Now, that's the auction portion. Let's say that you just have a note that you want to try to sell, period, end of story, and there's no rush on it. Well, those are the times that you're going to see people putting a buy it now price. Buy it now means the person has the note. They don't care if it sells today or next week or next year. They know that there's value on the note and they're in no hurry to get rid of it. But if somebody wants it, they will most certainly let it go for the right price. If you are looking for a very specific note, odds are you will find one at a buy it now price. And when I say buy it now, that doesn't necessarily refer to eBay. A buy it now price is also when you go to your coin shop and they have a note there and there's a price on it. Kind of obvious that the price on the note is a buy it now price. If you want to buy it, that's the price if you want to take it home today. So when I say buy it now, like I said, not necessarily referring to eBay. But like I said, the buy it now portion is someone who has the note, is offering the note for sale, but is in no hurry to sell the note. They understand the value. They want to get the most value for the note. So those are your two different styles, I guess you could say. If you really want the note, yeah, you're going to have to pay up for the note. If you are open on your selections, that's when you can start finding really cool deals on stuff. Now, my collection is very eclectic. Some would say even a little eccentric. But that's how I was able to put together my collection, by basically scouring auctions and sniping stuff that I either didn't have or that I just thought was a great deal at the time. I'm very open with you guys that the stuff that I sell in my auctions once a month is stuff that I've managed to find on eBay. That means, yes, anything in my auction could have been found cheaper than my selling price if you wanted to go through all the time and work and effort to find it and then stay up late at night to actually hunt down and snipe at the end of any particular auction. Otherwise, I'm simply putting stuff out there still at a great price. But anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about this week. The different types of sales that you see, auction versus buy it now. and what that means and which are the better ways to get things. All right, let's take a look at what I found this week. I have, this one's pretty cool. It's a trinary, twos, sevens, and eights. It's also bookends. It starts off with 222, ends with 222, and there's 6 twos. Does any of that make it worth more? I don't know. I don't care. I think it looks kind of cool. I think it's a neat note, and I'm keeping it. It's going to go in my trinary box. But yeah, because I think it's a trinary. Is it anything else? I don't know. Do I care if it's worth more than face value? No. It's trinary to me. All right, here is an alternator. This is so close to being a really, really cool note. You've got 5, followed by 38, 38, 38, 3. In other words, 53, 83, 83, 83. If that 5 was an 8, then you would have that's a super repeater. If that, then it would have been 83, 83, 83, 83. Super repeaters, that would have a substantial premium on. But this, just an alternator with 3 as every other digit. And to me, just a trinary. And it'll go in my trinary box. Another trinary here, 0s, 2s, and 6s. And this one is 4s, 5s, and 9s. Kind of rough. 1s, 5s, and 8s on this one. 0s, 4s, and 6s here. 0s, 9s, and 8s. Some people would say that this would be a rotator, 0s, 9s, and 8s, because if you rotate it, it's still 0s, 9s, and 8s. But as you can clearly see with the 8s, there is a top and a bottom to the 8, and now the bottom of the 8 is really small compared to the big top. So that's why a lot of people don't consider 8s when they talk about rotators. And a true rotator would read the same upside down. So this would, as an example, if this was 90996606, upside down would still be 90996066. So that's the true rotator portion, kind of like the true binary versus a regular binary. All right, there's 1s, 5s, and 6s on this one. 1s, 2s, and 4s here. And 0s, 2s, and 7s. This one is quads, quad 2s, quad 6s on this one. Quad 6s with a 5th. And check out this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 6s in a row, and it has a 6th. It's also a trinary, 6s, 7s, and 8s. 5 in a row, that starts to, I don't know if that's valuable yet, but when you get 6 of a kind, that is. And when I was talking about that one website, when it said most trinaries are face value, some are worth more than face, but most aren't. Well, here's an example of a trinary that might be worth a little bit more than face, because you have the 6 of a kind. It's still a trinary. You've got 5 together. Now, this particular one is probably a bad example, because to me it's still worth face value, but I would at least understand with 5 of a kind, or 5 in a row and 6 of a kind on this, if someone wanted to try to get a little bit more than face, because now you're talking a note that's a little bit more rare. Anyway, that's what they were talking about when they said some are worth more than face value, most are not. That's a good example there. All right, star notes. 2017 A star note, always checking to see if they're filled. 2017 star, another 2017 star, another 2017 star, another 2017, starting with a couple zeros, so maybe. It's interesting because as I look at this number, it looks like the whole number starts to go up like that, and I know people, yeah, that 5 is a little bit high, very little bit high, so what? It doesn't increase the value. 2013 star, 2013 B, and that's under the 9.6 million, so this also is one of the potential duplicate notes. Yeah, per 1,000, I usually find 1 or 2, so, yeah, what do you know? Here's another 2013 B, but this one is out of the range. But there's going to be people that go, oh no, there's 3 pairs, a pair of 1s, a pair of 6s, a pair of 2s. No, not a thing. We knocked that out on worthless fancy serial numbers. Let's see, 2003A. Here is another 2003A, another 2003A, 2003, 2003. Now, some of you wonder why I saved these. It's because these notes were issued 20 years ago, and paper money just doesn't last that long. So I make sure to pull them, and then I go through and keep the best ones and send the real bad ones back, because this way I still have a few of those in my collection just in case people are putting together sets. I will have some of these available. 1999, another 99. 1995, not a web note. Checking over here to make sure it is. It is not. And the oldest note, this one is pretty crisp. It's a 1993, one of the years that is really hard to find. Unfortunately, it does have a counter stamp. Some people are going to think that that counter stamp makes this note worth a ton of money, but it's not. That's a bank teller that just got a little bit excited when they went over the strap. What I'm talking about, when they put the strap on, they usually stamp all the stuff from the bank. Here's one that actually has one. You can see that was stamped. And if they stamp it this way, some of it could easily get onto the note. That does not make the note worth more. Some people tend to think so. It does not. All right, so what did I bring out this week? Well, some of you have seen this one before. This is a 2017A $1 Federal Reserve, but this serial number is the wrong color. This was the ink contamination error. You can see here it's green on this side and it's black on this side. I brought this to the National Showdown a few months back, and I brought it to PMG, and they said, well, we would send it in to get it graded to see if it is a legitimate error, but they wouldn't talk any value. I was just curious as to know how many there were, if this was something that they'd grade, and apparently the person I talked to was not aware of this. So they suggested I send it in for grading to get it officially documented, just to make sure that there wasn't a chemical treatment to this note. While I was there, I was looking around and talking to some dealers, and I found this one. Same thing. You have the black serial number compared to the green serial number. And just to show here, there's the black versus green. I don't know how well that shows. There we go. All right, so that was mine, and this was the one that I found at the show. And it turns out that there was a third one there as well. And the third one was actually graded, and that gentleman wanted, I think, $300 for his that was graded. I don't recall exactly what it said. I'm pretty sure it was the ink contamination error that was on there. Anyway, what I then realized was the serial numbers. Okay, let's look at these serial numbers. Actually, let's look at the cool serial numbers and figure it out from there. What can we tell? Both of these are from Atlanta. They're F. And if we look at the number, we've got F0194, F0197, and then they both end in 16. Well, when notes are printed, they're printed 50 notes per page, okay? Which means every note on the page is going to have the same last few digits. The only thing that changes are the center notes. I believe each one is done in stacks of 5,000, or for 5,000. So the difference on the sheet and the location will be 5,000. If you look down the sheet, you're going to have 5,001, and then you're going to have 10,001, and then 15,001, and then 20,001. So when I looked at these and saw that the last two digits of the serial number were the same, my first thought was, wow, these came off the exact same sheet. But doing a little more research, that wasn't exactly the case. Like I said, you're talking 5,000 as the difference in the sheet, in the numbers on an individual sheet, and you can see that these are actually they have a difference of 500. The 100 spot is different as well, so it's not just a difference in the thousands place. So as much as I thought these were both going to be on the same sheet, they aren't. That was kind of a bummer to make that discovery. But That does mean that I probably will be putting one of these up for auction in my auction. So if you have heard of these ink contamination errors and always wanted to get your hands on one, well, you never know. It may show up in my auction. The way that this error happened is in the printing process, black ink contaminated the well that held the green ink on this side. And I guess as they were printed, more green ink would have been added. So this serial number goes from black back to the natural green. Unless, of course, they just cleaned it out and started over again. Then you wouldn't have that gradient. But that is how that happened. And it is an actual error. If you send one in for grading, they will designate that error. Very cool note. I thought I found just a miracle find of 2 errors from the exact same sheet. They're close, but they weren't from the same sheet. They were 500 sheets apart. Anyway, that's what I've got for you guys this week. If you learned anything new, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. Love reading all your comments. Guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.